Okay, hi all. This is take two, and today's topic is short-term survival. Um, 8 hours to 30 days. That's what I consider short-term. Um, and I'm gonna dive right in. Now, you're gonna say that's a hell of a difference, 8 hours to 30 days, but there are windows in survival. Most people talk about long-term. Guns and knives and the overthrow of the government, blah blah blah. I'm going to be talking about, when the power goes out, the gas goes out, the gas, water, and power go out, and most of you have had that experience lately. It's happened to us 3 or 4 times so far this year, and because of my picking up a little bit of things here and there, it's been a lot more comfortable for us. So I'm going to dive right in with what I think is one of the more important things. Uh, a transistor radio. Now you see it's 15 bucks on Amazon. Takes 2 AA batteries, and it lasts for, I think mine lasts for a day or two on 2 AA batteries. A little more if I don't use it full, all the way through. And they are a godsend. You get local news and weather, you get music. Here's mine. Talk about going low tech. There's no internet involved. Da, 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 da. I paid 10 bucks for mine on Amazon. There are different companies and different prices. And you can even get ones that play tapes and CDs and crap. I think that's a little overkill because, quite honestly, it's a survival radio. You want it to be low tech as possible, and that's close to as low tech as possible. This is as low tech as possible, and it's actually more money. And I don't think it's anywhere near as good a product, but you can charge your phone from it. About 2 minutes of cranking will buy you about 20, maybe 30 minutes worth of radio, 2 to 3 minutes worth of light, and maybe 2 minutes on your phone. But if you crank for 5 or 10 minutes on your phone, you're going to get, 4 to 10 minutes worth of phone time. And in an emergency, that can be a lifesaver. So it's worth the 20 bucks. Which moves us on to our next product for around the house for when the weather goes out, or for when the electric goes out. And that is a portable power station. They're very handy. I've used mine a couple of times this year already. And what you do with these bad boys is you just pick them up as you can afford to. If you have some extra money, you buy one. I think I paid $120 for ours. Depends. I hunt for sales, and this, I believe, is on sale at the moment. It's 293 watt hours, and that's the number you want to look at. It's the little one that says WH, because that's going to tell you how long it'll last and how much stuff you can do with it. You'll notice on the front there that there are AC outlets. This is a battery that can be charged by a solar panel in, worst case scenario. That'll last several hours with a fan, your lights, longer if you use compact fluorescent lights, which we do. realistically, something like this is going to run a fan for 5, 6 hours. Boxed fan, not a high velocity fan. Um, for 5, 6 hours. Um, if you have another one, you can run your lights for maybe 8 hours, 10 hours, and in the process, you can use it to recharge a laptop, recharge an iPod, or an iPad, I should say, recharge an iPhone. They're really handy little devices to have. Um, if you're smart, what you do is you buy one every couple of months. You save up a little, you buy one every couple of months. You save up, you buy one a year. Um, Depending on what your, you know, money allows you. Um, for slightly more, you can get the 518 watt hours, and that'll get you through a longer period of time. That'll get you through 8 or 10 hours with a decent box fan, 4 or 5 hours of lights and fan, and still have the option to charge a phone or charge an iPad. Um, as I said, they're just damned handy, and they make a crisis into an annoyance, which is something you're looking for in a crisis situation, especially if you have children. If you have children, you want something that's going to keep a little electricity in their lives. You can play a DVD player with one of these things. You can play, you know, um, pretty much any small electronic device. Uh, Nothing that you can cook with, sadly, because then you're talking, 1,000 watts minimum, and that just doesn't. These just don't cover that. Unless you want to spend $1,000 on one or $2,000 on one, in which case you're better off getting a generator. But generators are loud, the noises are messy. Um, for the average household, I'd recommend something like this in the way of a generator. Portable power inverter generator. It has the AC outlets right on it, so you can just plug right in and start going. 2,500 watts is not as much as you might think. You can't run an air conditioner off it. Well, you might be able to run one, but you wouldn't be able to start one. Air conditioners have a high startup rate, but you can run a couple of fans, you can run the TV, you can run a computer, you can run, a number of things. Probably even run a hot plate off of one if you're just an electricity junkie, which sometimes I am. For more serious issues, or for longer term, past a couple of days, you're going to want to get something like this. Now, if you have kids, you want a dual fuel. What's that mean? That means propane and gasoline. I've yet to be able to find a propane only generator, but if you have kids, propane is probably safer for you. You get a little less bang for your buck. Propane doesn't propane doesn't provide the same amount of power as gasoline does. It's just the way life is. And that covers your major stuff, your major electronic stuff for a short-term emergency. The battery backups, the what they call portable power generators or portable power banks, solar generators. If you want to, you can buy the optional solar panels, and it's not the worst idea in the world. I've never had to use them because I live in a city. Our power doesn't stay out that long. For those with an interest, power power restoration goes in this order: urban, suburban, rural. And if you're rural, you probably pretty much know that. If you're suburban, you might not have heard that. If you're urban, there's a strong possibility you just haven't thought about it. Um, but that's why in an urban situation, when other people are taking 4 or 5 days to get their power back, you get yours back in 12 to 14 hours. Um, I live in the city, I know. I've lived in the suburbs. Takes a little longer, and I've lived off the grid. Um, and that could take weeks. If you're rural, you know what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to skip ahead to the winter here. Um, for 8 hours, for a 6 to 8 hour bite, you're probably not doing too horribly badly. Your house will stay relatively warm for that period of time. You may not want to be bothered with a non-electric heating source. Um, and for those of you who have gas heat or oil heat, those are electric heating sources. Um, you probably know that by now because you're alive and you're human. Um, and when your power goes out, your heat goes out. Uh, Now, this is your basic kerosene heater. It's so it's 2-in-1 portable kerosene heater and stove. That just means the top gets hot enough to cook off of, so don't put your hands on it. $109.99. I got mine at Walmart for 99 bucks. And Walmart delivers for free over $35, so it's worth looking around a little bit. I mean, it's only a $10 savings, but we're not made of money here. You know, hell, $10 is half a haircut. If I could find a barber that did white people's hair, um, it'd be a whole haircut. Now, we did the kerosene heater. This is the Mr. Bud portable heater. He's a propane jobby. 4,000 to 9,000 BTUs. That's enough for a decent room. That's enough for a master bedroom, which is where you and the kids will probably end up anyway in a real emergency. This will heat your master bedroom. It's cheaper than the kerosene heater, and it's safer for children. Um, if you have kids, children, I kind of hate the word kids. If you have children, you might want to consider the Mr. Buddy portable heater. I have one. It's part of a layered approach to short-term survival. Um, it uses the small bottles. You can also, if you're worried that the area that you live in might go a day or two without heat, you can also use the large bottles with an adapter that costs about 20 bucks. And portable buddy heater will heat your house for a couple of days between refills of the large bottles. The big ones you use for barbecues and whatnot. Okay, so we've covered the radio, the battery banks, uh, portable power, portable power. Oh, what the hell? Portable power station. That's it. Damn it. We've covered generators, the kerosene heater, the propane heater. Now we want to go to cooking, and this is year round. Particularly if you have kids, you're going to want to heat. You're going to want a cooking, the ability to cook without electricity, which takes out a lot of things, unless you have a natural gas stove. So the stovetop will still work, even though the oven probably won't. But if you're like a lot of people and you just don't happen to have a natural gas stove, um, I swear by Coleman. They are just a tad pricier, about $10 actually, pricier than their competitors. Fairly sure they're American made, and um, something like this is just perfect. Just effing ducky, as they say. Um, I have one in the back, on the back porch. Um, I've had to use it because if power outage comes around dinner time, even if it's only going to be out for 8 hours, and you have kids, those kids want to be fed, and they're not going to be taken no for an answer very easily. Um, you and the missus might want to be fed. Um, Two burner stove lets you do a two-pan meal, which is more than enough for most people and most children. Now, for a little less, is the single burner. It's around $50. I mean, they say 42.23, and there's no shipping if you use Prime. Um, I have one of those. I've used it several times. Um, you can get off-brand variants down to $25 or even $20. Um, they're real simple. It's just something you stick on top of a can of propane with a base. Uh, and it's very easy to use. Um, you might not think that's the greatest thing if you have kids, but it's good for pasta. It's good for, what ails you. You cook the pasta, you boil the water, you cook the pasta, you throw it in a colander, you heat the sauce and add veggies or whatever you want to do, and throw the pasta back in, serve it on up, and you're done. It's actually a pretty good little. It's pretty good for what ails you. I did that. Okay. Now, if you just happen to be broke, I mean dead broke, and you want a little safety and security in your life, something like this is a godsend. Let you use your car um, as a portable, as basically a generator. Um, this will charge your phones. You see the little USB slots down there. It plugs into your cigarette lighter, or whatever the hell they call a cigarette lighter plug-in now. I know all cars don't have them, but most do. Uh, you also see the AC outlets there, so you can charge your iPads and um, laptops and general whatnot. It's $34, and it lets you use your car as a charging station. Damned handy. Before I found out about a lot of stuff, I had one of these, and it was a lifesaver. Didn't save my life exactly, but it made my life a hell of a lot easier during blackouts. I never had to worry about not having a charged phone. I never had to worry about not having a charged laptop. Uh, if something bad did happen, I was as prepared as I could be without knowing about the rest of the products. Now that basically sums up most of it. There's little stuff. As I said, I take a layered approach. Um, you know, the portable power station is damn handy, and if you have solar panels, you can charge it the next day if your power happens to be after that period of time. Uh, it does kind of stink to be you though if you only have one, because you're charging it. You can't use it for a fan. You can't use it for anything. Um, on the off chance that my power supply runs out, I have these for around the house. They're handy. I think they're $14.99 each for the big ones, four for $19.99 for the small ones. Big ones take 3 AAAs, small ones take 3 AAAs. And again, God's end. You know, it's just light around the house. This way you never have to go into a dark room, which can be really upsetting in a power outage. Having something that lets you keep your rooms lit, you know, is priceless. And they're perfectly safe, even if you have children. The next thing is not necessarily as safe if you have children, unless, you know, you teach them about them. But this is the last step for me for lighting for the household. Um, you blow through everything else. You're 5-10 days into it, you know, completely out of batteries, which almost never happens here. Um, you know, I keep a regular supply of candles on hand. Candle usage is part of my faith, so there's usually 30-40 candles on hand. Um, and if you didn't notice, I can walk around the house with this. It's got a hand holder, you know, very 1800s, but it gets the job done. You leave one of these in the bathroom on a microwave safe plate, just to be 100% safe. Um, I've used these without the plate; they're perfectly safe. But just to be 100%, you know, you put a plate under it, and it's a microwave safe plate, so you know it won't shatter from heat. Um, and you know, that's the last of it for short term. I'm not going to get into long term. I'm definitely not going to get into guns and all that crap. Um, you know, if you live in a dicey area, you should have at least a shotgun. A Remington 870, a Mossberg 500 series, 5 in 1 or 6 in 1, you know, and maybe a handgun. And that's really all you need for, you know, the most part, even blackouts. AR-15s have their merits. Um, but as I said, I'm not going to get too far into this. With guns and all that, everybody else covers guns. You can find 5,000 videos on guns for survival. Hopefully, this short. Oh, last thing, little trick. Um, have 100, maybe 200. If you're expecting a power outage that's going to last more than a day, have 100 paper plates. Have a box of plastic cutlery, roughly the same number. um, Maybe 50, you know, paper bowls and plastic cups and whatnot. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Um, the water might go out. You might not be able to wash your dishes. Your power is out, so you're not using your dishwasher. It's better to have a bag or two full of paper plates and paper bowls and plastic cups than it is to have, you know, 2 or 3 days worth of dishes piled up in the sink. There are a lot of health reasons for that. Um, it's also it just weighs on you. You know, having dirty dishes in the sink just weighs on you. Okay, we covered everything, all the basics anyway. I'm going to try to leave comments on for this one, so somehow my comments get lost. I don't know why. I'm going to try to leave comments on for this. If you have questions or comments, feel free to ask. Any help I can be, I'll try to be. Thank you, David Gaines, and, you know, be smart, be safe.